What's going on, YouTube? So today we'll be comparing the Canon RF 100-500 versus the Nikon 200-500, and yes, we'll be using the Nikon Z for the Nikon, of course, and we'll be using the Canon R5 for the Canon, of course. So with all that said, let's begin. Alright, so here's our test. On the right is the Nikon Z with the 200-500, and on the left is the Canon R5 with the 100-500, and we're shooting at 5.6, and let's take a look at the sharpness. And now I have to say that the Canon right now is the sharpest one at 200mm at 5.6. There we go. Good job, Canon. Here is f8. And I would have to say is around f8. It look more or less the same, but definitely leave the comments down below if you guys see anything different. But yeah, it looks more or less the same to me. And around f11, it's about the same actually in terms of sharpness. There you go. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Well, all right. I'm still a little shocked about that, but let's see the next aperture, which is f16. Around f16, here we go. And around f16, I would say it looks identical in terms of sharpness. So if you own the Nikon 200-500, you have the same sharpness level as the 100-500, except around 5.6. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see the next focal length. All right, we're at 5.6, and this is 300mm. Let's take a look. We're zoomed in, and there you go. Now, the Canon is actually sharper than the Nikon. Yeah, look at that. Crazy. Here's f8 versus f8. I would say that, yeah, looks very identical right now. Let me know down below which one do you guys think is the sharpest one. But definitely if I was shooting a bird, I think at this setting right here, either one would do. Looks the same to me. All right, here's f11 versus f11, and what do you know? Look at f11. I think, yeah, the Nikon is sharper right there on the top. Yep, there you go. Nikon is sharper. And on the edges looks identical. Yeah, it looks identical actually. Huh, there you go. And here's f16. And already around f16, it's I'll give it to the Nikon around this area. Well, let me know down below what you guys think. It looks okay. It looks identical, I think. Yeah, I don't see a huge difference. All right, let's take a look at the next focal length. All right, so we're at 400mm, and I want to let you guys know that on the Canon, the lowest you can go is 6.3. I'm still going to show you guys the 5.6 on the Nikon, so let's take a look. The Nikon at 5.6 will be softer, obviously, but I still want to give you guys a look at it. I won't critique it or anything, just to show you guys in case you guys are curious. But yeah. There you go. All right. Now let's pump this 5.6 to a 6.3. Let's take a look at 6.3 versus 6.3. And I want to let you guys know that definitely the Nikon image, it's a lot bigger than the Canon image. You'll see later on in the test, of course. I just cropped in on the Canon, so now it looks kind of identical. But I'll show you guys in the 500mm focal length to show you guys the huge difference between the Canon and the Nikon, because the Canon is focus breathing, and that's a common issue with this type of zoom lens actually, and we saw that in my previous video when we compared the Sony lenses versus the 100-400 versus the 200-600 Sony lens. So yeah, focus breathing can be a drag. All right, so here's f8 versus f8, and as you can see, the focus breathing is, yeah, the Canon will give you a slightly smaller image, which is crazy, right? You pay so much money and you get focus breathing. That's still amazing. But I don't think they should feel too bad because that Sony 100-400 was focus breathing as well. But for this test right here, at this focal length at f8, even though they're not at the right focal distance because of the focus breathing, I'll have to say that this is softer, but this is sharper, but we're not at the same focal range right now. So that's the problem with this test right now. So I just want to show you guys the difference though, just in case. Yeah, look at that. Look at that huge difference right there. Here's f16 versus f16. Yeah, look at that size difference. And several of the Canon shooters in the community have came forward and said that when they compare with their prime lenses, they actually seen it. So that's another way to test it. If you have a 500mm prime lens, you could definitely tell the difference. So yeah. Now in terms of sharpness, it's hard for me to critique it because it's not the same focal length, but at this point, I mean, the Canon is sharper, but it's not zoomed in, whereas the Nikon is zoomed in, and it's a different focal length right now. So it's not apples to apples right now. So still just want to show you guys the difference though, right? So keep in mind, when you're shooting with the Canon at 500mm, you can only go up to 7.1. So I'm just going to show you guys 7.1 versus 5.6, just to show you guys the difference. For all those pixel peepers out there, there you go. This means that the Nikon will give you, you know, more bokeh, more light in your image, whereas the Canon is, wow, 7.1 is like kit numbers, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you bought a kit. Wow, this is crazy. This is 7.1. That's, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. All right. So here is 7.1 versus 7.1. And just a reminder, this is still focus breathing. We have two different focal length. And I just wanted you to guys know that the Nikon is the bigger image. Obviously, you could tell by that. But I still want to show you guys the difference though. So there you go. And here is f8. And I remember doing the 100-400 version 2 on the Canon, right? And it also focus breathed pretty hard. And it's yeah, it's a big problem with these zoom lenses. But yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, look at the whole image. The whole image is like, look at that. That's a huge difference right there. Big difference. But most of the Canon shooters that own the 100-500, they won't know. So they'll just say, oh, it's there's no focus breathing. But no, there's focus breathing. And it's very common in the Canon 100-400 lineup as well. So here's f11. And yeah, even though the Nikon looks sharper, but yeah, again, different focal length. I can't really say too much about it. You guys need to judge on your own. But for, you know, focal length wise, I'll definitely pick the Nikon. No one wants focus breathing lenses for wildlife. That's just inexcusable, right? So that's something that Canon needs to fix in-house. But that just is wild to me, right? Because you're comparing with a DSLR lens and it's like, it's crazy. And let's do the last one, f16 versus f16. And here's f16. And around f16 at this focal length, I would say that the Nikon looks sharper actually. Craziness. But like I said before, this is a different focal length. Look at that. Yeah. Craziness. So just to wrap things up, the Canon RF 100-500 versus the Nikon 200-500. At the end of the day, the Canon RF is the most expensive one. It is the lightest one. However, it does suffer that problem that it had previously with the 100-400 Mark II. It has that focus breathing problem. A lot of people have reported this issue. This is a common issue in the telephoto lens world, actually the zoom telephoto lens world. And yeah, we saw this on the Sony 100-400 and that had the same problem. And it's a big problem to have on such an expensive lens at $2,700. And also, if you think about it, at this price point, at 500 millimeters, you're getting 7.1. Yes, 7.1. This is probably the most expensive amateur wildlife lens on the market. That is crazy. Even Sony, I don't even like Sony, even Sony 200-600 is giving you 6.3 and it's only what, $2,000? This is just overly priced, pretty much. And it's a zoom lens, by the way, and the Sony one's internal zoom. So yeah, I don't know what Canon is doing, but for all those people that are using this lens right now, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but good luck. Hopefully you guys enjoy the lens. I know you guys have the animal wildlife tracking, but your lens right now it's basically zooming back when your bird is getting close to you, pretty much. That's what it's doing. So you're not really shooting at the true 500. You're shooting around like what, 200, 300 at times when you're supposed to be at 500. But yeah, it's weird. But with the Nikon 200-500, this lens is heavy. It's a heavy lens. It's $1,400 and at 5.6 from 200, 300, 400, 500. They do have the 5.6. It's soft on the edges, but it's sharp in the center. And there you go. That is value for the money. And it's crazy. That's a DSLR lens. And when we looked through the whole image quality, there wasn't a big difference actually that I noticed. Not a huge difference, only on the short end at 5.6 at 200 that I saw. But it's crazy. You think about it, right? $2,700 versus $1,400. And I guess the main difference is, you know, if you want the animal tracking or you want the Nikon, you know, dynamic autofocus. So that's all on you guys. But anyways, thank you guys for checking me back. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely click like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. And yep, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, take it easy. Peace.